6 p.m. on September 17th, 2024, during study session, the board director calls the Metropolitan sheet to order. Go ahead, Jim.
Okay, Christy and I went to SBA conference last week. I believe it was beneficial for both of us. There's a few issues that we had discussed on some of the grant stuff that was going on, and where we meet, and it's done copper that needs to be done by the middle of October. So we're all in line for everything so far. I'll add right now is we use WFP. It's a company that was hired to go through and do all the research for the Metropolitan connections in our area. I have to send them all the bills, and they went through all of it. Looks like everything is, we don't have to do anything because since our development was more in the 60s and later, we didn't have that problem with lead connections or anything before. There was a lot of lead connections. So we're almost through that group. Christy, I'll let you speak. Do you have anything that you want to say about the conference?
So it was very beneficial for myself, of course, getting to know, I met personally with Carolyn, our attorney, our CSAFE representative. I got to know a lot of people that only emails, so face to face was great, but it was very beneficial, I believe, for both of us.
Yeah. Jim brought up the lead and copper issue. So we are ahead of the curve on compliance there?
Yes, we are. Like I said, everything that they have researched is what they'll do is go back into county records and everything else, and their houses were built. And most everything that was put in was either copper, which copper is fine, but you just can't have a lead connection or a galvanized connection with copper because you get
but the question there is that we have let the state know that we have filed the papers and we're ahead of the curve on compliance with the required deadline.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just got an email that all I have to do now is basically get it entered into the program.
Okay. And that's coming up. Okay. All right, go
ahead. Okay, next, they asked me to put this on here was discussion of CCACC responsibilities and resolution.
I just think that I was looking back over the work done by Mr. Smith and others regarding that House Bill 24, was it 1267?
Yeah,
1267. And I really think we need to start stepping it up. I think we need to start supporting the work that the Architectural Advisory Committee is doing. And I think we need to move forward. This is the first time as a Metro District in our particular situation that we've had an opportunity to have at least one tool in the toolbox to maybe get a few things to go the way that we need to go without these threats of letters, and subsequent letters, and third letters, and now what are we going to do letters? And I just think that it would be in our best interest to start thinking about coming up with some formalized ideas about fines. Just think it's time. I mean, it's property values. You know, our houses are our most significant investment, and we've got to take care of those things. So that's why I wanted it on the agenda. I know we won't be taking any action tonight, but I want the board to seriously consider moving forward with that. I also wanted to just say that I was walking out of a bar a while back, just happened to be in a bar, and two policemen that just had driven by and stopped at the stoplight. And I walked right behind them, jaywalked. That's against the law. But you know what? didn't arrest me for jaywalking. That's because it's not that important in the scheme of their day. And I think that the architectural committee, as we look at issues down the road, we need to focus on the big ideas. Our house is facing the correct way. Or is it the right kind of house? Just the big things. And I know that there are people that are very, very concerned about chickens, but we've got containers on properties that aren't supposed to be there. We've got trailers on properties that aren't supposed to be there. Those are the big ideas we need to take care of. And this might give us just one more arrow in the quiver. Thank you.
Good. So I kind of want to comment. So I might be the only person on the board here that thinks fines is a bad idea. But I do think it's a bad idea. This is the reason why. I've seen this type of stuff turned into a weapon against neighbors. And first of all, we can fine them if they're not going to comply with letters. Okay, and we fine them, they're probably not going to pay the fine. The fine can be put as a lien against their property. Okay, but then again, they never leave. We don't have to get the fine. The other thing too is through covenants, there are ways to already put liens against their property by taking them to court. And then we have an independent judge that decides whether or not the district is being fair about this rule. I don't know. I would like more discussion on this. Okay. And I would like to see a little bit more evidence that this isn't going to be abused. But I don't see that. I've seen it time and time again where the wrong people get into a board position and they do it for the simple fact of getting an agenda done. And when I say by an agenda against their neighbors. And that is not what this country is about. We've never been about that. We never should be about that. And you know, one of the reasons why I served in the military, I was raised very patriotic. I love this freaking nation. Love it. Okay. And I served in the military to make sure that I myself and my neighbors can stay free from tyranny. Now, I'm not going to go as far as to say that these fines are tyranny, because I don't think that's the case. Okay? But at the same time, I really don't want to see something put in place that can be abused by the wrong people. Because if the wrong people get into these chairs, and we've seen it time and time again in government, if the wrong people get into the chairs and there's rules that can be abused, they will abuse them. That's all I got. Thank you.
I do.
No, there's definitely both, I can see both sides because it's a very complex issue, especially around here. The one thing I do know is that throughout HOAs, when they start fining people, they start getting sued. And there have been numerous HOAs, I think two off the top of my head, that sued out of existence because of lawsuits once they start getting them. So it's not as easy as just finding people and doing what's right. You're going to find somebody that's going to fight back. Legal fees are going to go astronomically high. And even if you win, you have to recoup the legal losses. So it's a very difficult situation. It's just too bad that people don't take pride in their properties and are considerate of their neighbors on their own. But I don't know if finding people and giving their county assessor's office more power is the answer. I would like to discuss it more. There may be ways to work things around and to implement it in a fair and impartial way. It's easier said than done. But I do know that a lot of HOAs that have tried to enforce covenants have been sued. One Pueblo West Metro District, Hills Metro District, East of Colorado Springs lost a big lawsuit. They no longer try to enforce any covenant. Just food for thought.
No, sir. Do you want to speak? Go ahead. That's, you're muted, Sarah.
Okay, I agree with a lot of what Greg said, and I also feel the only people that are going to be punished by this are the people that actually are going to pay their taxes and liens. These people don't pay their taxes. They're not going to care if you fine them. They don't care that it's against the rules right now. So why are they going to care if you put fines against them? And how are you going to, like, these people are like, a lot of them, we don't know who they are. A lot of them are parked on property illegally. How can you find somebody if you don't actually know who they are or have a mailing address or have any way to even contact them? You're going to be punishing the people that actually pay their taxes and pay their bill. These lots are just going to be lots that are going to be turned over every 3 years when they don't pay their taxes.
That it, Sarah? More?
Yeah, that's it.
Yes. Sounds to me like we have more discussion that we need on this. I would definitely probably have a special meeting. Part of it, of course, is I think the effort of this flying issue is to somehow find a way to correct some of the covenant issues. And so my question would be to the board, what is the solution? What is the alternative to the fine? What is the solution to help with correcting covenant issues? And I'm not suggesting we discuss it here today. What I'm suggesting is to get a special meeting or
I'd get a real special meeting.
a work meeting or something to discuss this, because we're not, I don't think the fines are a solution looking for a problem. I think they truly are an effort to fix some of our problems, and I think we need to discuss it, we need to work it out.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask you?
Well, so, board, should we have a special meeting? We need to go through this process.
Well, and I think we owe it to the people who've invested time in preliminary steps to come up with a yay or nay. Either, I mean, we've been kind of talking about it, and then the second thing I would hope as a board member is that we can actually come up with some action steps for people who are thumbing their noses at us. Because I mean, I haven't been on the board but a little over a year, but I don't think the Architectural Control Committee has moved on anybody to do anything. And these people are out there, they're getting addresses and writing letters and submitting complaints, and they come to us, and then we say, well, we'll send a letter, and then we'll send another letter, and then we'll send another letter, and then it just kind of fizzles out. And then the next problem comes up. And I don't know if you'll recall when I was getting on the board, I said that the board had no business in the architectural. But we are here. So we have got to do something or else do nothing. It's time. It's time. Thank you.
Are you up for a special meeting?
Yeah.
I believe a special meeting, it's gonna be a long meeting for us to stop. So it's easy special.
I believe we don't want to take up time.
And the thing is, tonight we will have legal advice now.
Okay.
Okay, so let's, I don't know, I'll get to you just a little bit. we get through those here. Okay, so currently we have the CCAAC review,
Mhm.
and then we'll get to. Alright, so the review is, as we are right now, the review is, let's go over it.
You have the one from Camelot, send the letter out from that building to Red, remember we put it off the last, this will be the on the agenda to move forward with it, send them a letter. Like Bob, the one on Camelot, that was the building that they wanted to put a garage on A without having a house. So they needed to send a letter out, telling them that they needed their, points of their lot. And, they had the building marked, but they didn't have the lot. And then also explaining to them that they cannot live in the building, the garage or whatever that they were building. And that was part of that. So.
And it's a shame we have to do that.
So that was the first letter on the new building, like that. And send them a letter and explain, these are the federal needs of which you cannot do and that you have to have marked out in the application. Because it was turned down at this point.
That one is, we have that in our new construction action item.
Yeah, okay.
Then we have 4 letters.
That are in your packet that were complaints.
And our executive writing committee is recommending that we send those letters.
Yes. Bob, is that right?
Yes, sir, there's 4 of them, Mr. Chairman. 3 on chickens and 1 on the common.
Questions, George? Okay. Yeah, we'll get into the. So I'm gonna read it. In order for this report to be conducted in the most effective and expeditious manner, it's necessary that all persons present maintain a meeting of skill for the board staff and each other. Conduct that is obstructing or aggression will not be tolerated. Stabbing, speaking out of order, or use of defensive gestures are not acceptable. Such behavior shall constitute the forfeiture of the right to remain in attendance and may, with the point of order brought to board attention by counsel or any board member, including chairperson, result in your being asked to leave the meeting by the chairperson or on refusal, being asked to go out of the meeting by the proper authority. Now, I think that we get into the citizen input. And did you sign up, Bob? Okay, I want to include you. All right, go ahead.
Okay, first I have Bob Cook.
Let's go.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Notes, so I'll try to put something together real quick for you. Concerning the law and fines and there is no new law granting power to fine. Read the law. I read it, you've read it. The law that you're discussing very clearly states add 8D. It does not say remove 8A, B, or C. You want to say the law says that you can fine property owners? Everyone that can read clearly can see that 8D carries no power to fine. However, 8A of the same law is where you find verbiage on who can fine. 8A has been on the books for years, and you could not fine any property owner under 8A because Colorado City doesn't meet the conditions for 8A. You like bringing up laws. Well, let's look at another law, a federal law, UFC 18242. Anyone who acts under color of law must be imprisoned or fined. Let's look at one last thing. The covenant starting with Unit 1 clearly states, and I quote, enforcement of these covenants shall be by proceeding at law or in equity. For anyone that does not know what inequity means in contract or covenant law, it means that only a judge can decide and or issue a writ of compliance. This means that if you try to fine a property owner, you would be in violation of the covenants themselves. Just that clear. Everybody can read. It's clear. It's written down. You've got all the books. It's in every covenant. Americans are very fond of a saying, and I repeat it here tonight. Fuck around and find out. Thank you.
Okay, I have, Dennis. Okay.
All right, first of all, we voted the board in to hear our voice, I think. I don't think that it's appropriate for the citizens to be told that if we have complaint against someone that's breaking the covenant or going against the county violation, I don't feel that it's proper for you guys to be telling the citizens to go file a complaint with the county. I think that we voted you in to be our voice. You actually, it's you guys, not us. Second thing, regarding fines, I'm wondering, are the covenants really open for interpretation or discretion of the architectural committee or the board of directors? Because regarding the fines for uncorrected violations, in Unit 5 on Colorado Boulevard alone, there are 20 illegal fences. Okay? Several years ago, I was made to take my fence down. Now, if you're going to institute these fines, are you going to send letters to all 20 of these people telling them they have to take down their fences like I was required to do several years ago? And if you don't, you're probably going to end up in some, like you said, and you're going to end up in a court battle over a lot of this stuff. You really will, because I know a lot of these covenants are not being followed. Okay, and I think it's the discretion of whoever. The third thing is, I understand the board has instituted a 3-minute time limit on all citizen input. I'm asking that you please enforce this. The last meeting, there were a couple of people that started talking and they kept repeating themselves several times over the 3-minute timeline limit. And we're all adults. We can understand what's being said the first time around. There's no need to repeat things over and over again. So I ask that the board start enforcing this rule. And if need be, I'll be more than happy to buy you a stopwatch. Thank you.
Okay. Is that over 3 minutes?
No, that was no minutes and 19 seconds.
Yeah. I timed it. And I'm proud of Bob too, because he's done 3 minutes too. Bob Smith, can we let Bob Smith talk like we said?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, good evening. I guess from your conversation, we've been putting this off, and as you already know, there's a deadline. And so you're pushing towards that deadline. So if you're just going to let it fall over, that we need to do something. What we've been doing for how long is not working. I disagree with Mr. Collins. We're not the U.S. Congress right now, and the board isn't. I don't see how our board would be so bad that we would take advantage of people myself. But anyway, something needs to be done. I hope that you do discuss it, because there 3 weeks ago, that's what we talked about discussing then. I've already done a whereas sheet, I guess you could call it, on your fines, etc. And that's what I put together so you could discuss it. Is it too much, too less, or whatever? So you already have that proof. That's covers every requirement that I could see in Now, as I understood earlier, we were gonna have a decision from the attorney by now, but again, we don't. So, it's just kicked down the road again. But, we have to do something. What we've been doing is not gonna make any difference. We've still got, people that are very upset because of the neighbors. And I just talked to one gentleman, the realtor actually, when they came to show his house on Jefferson, the person sitting in the car said, we can stop here because of the individual that we have a finding on. And this is a repeat, it's been going on for years, so it doesn't, your letters don't work. They're not working. And so, as far as monies, if we should lose a case, Mr. Gross, yes, we would have to pay attorney fees. If we would win a case, all fees come back to us. We get paid, should there be a win on our side. So it depends on a win or lose deal, but it says right in the act, there the law, that whoever wins, wins. That's all I have. We do need to step it up though, or you're just gonna let it run out. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. You can,
Again, I'm just gonna talk for just a short period of time here. That's not part of my 3 minutes. Hang on a minute, thank you everybody for being here. I'm basically going to talk a little bit about the same thing. First of all, I'm in favor of listening to what the attorney says about how we can act and what we can do with House Resolution 24-12, 67. And I once again want to reiterate, judgment is important. And courts are available for people who feel like they have been slighted or misjudged or mistreated. Anyway, I was out recycling with the Girl Scouts Saturday, and I saw a mobile home that was parked over on Los Cerritos. Apparently, I was on the architectural committee that approved that. It's on the lot sideways. The door doesn't face the street. I feel bad that I was not more diligent and I should have voted against it because it doesn't, as far as I'm concerned, conform to the idea of form and location. Okay, it's facing the wrong way. Also, I have a problem as a citizen with the inclusion of HUD homes, trailers in neighborhoods. I think if you have raised the money and saved your whole life and used the real estate market to move up, your home is your biggest investment, and then somebody puts a trailer next to it that has a VIN number, that's probably not going to be good for your property values. And that's a harm. So I know that HUD homes are not the same as UBC or IBC. They don't have the quality, and they have axles that can move. I, in the future, will vote against any of these structures that are sideways on the lot. And I hope the Architectural Advisory Committee recommends the same thing. It got by me. And I wish it hadn't turned out that way. Finally, how can you solve a covenant problem? I know how to do that. I've done it. I've taken people to court. I had a party move an installed mobile home with a skirt out of my neighborhood. And we have a court precedent that gives Colorado City Architectural Committee the power to enforce the covenants. We can do it. We just have to. Thank you.
all right, thanks, Ray. Okay, next, Rachel, Envy.
Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I've never done one of these before. This is just a fact-finding mission for me more than anything. I'm a resident in town, have been for about 3 years, actually. Michelle, actually. Talking about covenants, my major concern is how are we going to decide which one's to enforce, which one's not to enforce? This document goes back to 1964. Some of these sections are well out of range, like there is a section that we must have a shingle roof. What about fire corridor? Is that still advisable? Are we going to rewrite these covenants in line with current events and recommendations? Are we still going to require streetlights in front of houses when we have a governor that's advocating for dark sky communities? Those are just some little questions I have. There are egregious typo event, like in mine, I'm in unit 2, and section 2 says that the setback line shall vary from 201 to 30 feet. We'll correct that face because that has me very terrified that my house needs to be torn down because it's no longer in compliance with the covenants. Are we going to retroactively enforce these covenants? Are we going to do them going forward based on the new ones that have been revised and accepted by the community? What kind of fines are we looking at? I'd love to see that fee schedule in advance. How much time are you going to give community members to respond and also to enact those changes? We are looking at a time, regardless of your income level, where we're more squeezed now than we've ever been before, even if you have exit. So it's not always the fact that you don't respect your neighbors around you. Sometimes it's you must defer that maintenance to focus on other things like, I don't know, making sure your kid has the school equipment they need for that soccer game. I was in a neighborhood once before where there was, it's Fort Worth, Texas, I'll just give you that this photo. A woman that kept getting called into the city because her dog was getting out because of her fence. Sometimes people bite off more they can chew in houses. Sometimes things go sideways. She couldn't afford to replace her fence, and she had to publicly state to the community, please quit calling me. I know my fence is failing. I'm working on it. But getting fines doesn't help her to actually have the funds to enact that change that she has been tasked with. Are we going to do that to our community members here as well? We talk about worrying about the property values coming down because people aren't taking care of them, yet we've seen the tax rates go up regardless of deferred changes. These are all things I want very carefully considered and weighed. I'm with Mr. Collins. I am not in favor of this at all. I feel like some of it is very old, definitely needs to be looked at again, definitely needs to be updated, definitely needs to be discussed. I agree with everyone who says, please discuss it more. Those are my thoughts. Those are my concerns. Thank you for hearing me.
Mr. Chairman, may I say something?
Go ahead.
You spoke well.
Thank you. I was very nervous. I apologize. We're young people in the room.
Elizabeth?
I'm also new, so please forgive me, and she's probably going to sound crazier than me. But I have a lot of the same concerns that she does. I'm actually one of the individuals that filed one of the chicken complaints, even though I realize that's a smaller deal than the property taxes. But I'm also located next to one of the permanent living trailers that's on the corner of Cibola and Granero. So I'm familiar with that. But I'm on both sides of the fence. I would like to see further discussion on what can be done in regards to changing the covenant laws, because I reviewed them as well, and these are outdated. And I'm personally in violation of 2 of them because my trash can isn't paying my fence. So I would be interested in seeing what that process looks like and if we can address that, because I think that if all the fines are not enacted, I think changing them could help. And in regards to the chickens, there's a lot of people that have chickens in this town. And it's really not the chickens. For me, it's the roosters. For another complaint, I know it's a cleanliness issue. So maybe if we can make some adjustments, that could help in one direction. And I think my other thoughts were fines. What would they be used for? Could they be of a benefit to the city? Especially for maybe water issues, if the money could be used for that. But I think that was all my thoughts.
Anything else?
No, I hope so.
Kim? Mordecai. Gilbert?
Mordecai Valdez, yes. Also my first time ever here to talk. be patient with me. Start off introduction. My father served in Vietnam, and my grandfather served in World War II, and my great grandfather served in World War I. Before that, my people are the original people of this land, and they, as equally Apaches, were even part of who joined with the U.S. government to defeat the Comanche chief Buenos Aires, so that we could even be here today in this way. This cost of what it has meant to establish the USA on the premise that there could be land ownership itself for individuals like us was at the cost of countless atrocities and lives against my people. And I'm here today proud to be what we are all as Americans. And I think the first thing that I want to say is what should be considered to be most protected and yet the error on the side of freedom and respecting each other as that, especially as landowners. And too often, things like HOAs or covenants or whatever is used to attack neighbors, like you brought up, to cause division in a time when that's the last thing we need. And especially for things as simple as the primitive and truthful philosophical stance that as humans live in a society that we can say this dirt is mine, we can exist on it, the things we own, we can have on it with ourselves without harassment. Okay, so I think that's a good starting point. When we talk about the covenants and the codes for the county as they are written, and when we talk about the law is very clear that when you go to court over these things, you will be presented with interpretations, but the interpretations are not the meat of the argument, it's the words themselves and definitions. Neither Colorado City covenants themselves nor the code of Pueblo County actually stop and say it is wrong for people to exist in several ways on the land in this area that the Metro or the Agricultural Committee are trying to make stances to say they wouldn't. The chances of winning that in court is slim if you have an attorney that understands you go to the definitions and what the document actually says, because the documents, like you guys have read, are outdated, old, and often worded in such ways that you can only at best try and convince somebody that your interpretation of how somebody is breaking that is accurate and that it's not legally so to say that's the case. And so division against the very primitive and basic human right we have to exist without this type of harassment should be protected, especially when in losing, you can have all the consequences you mentioned. And I think that it is worth note to appeal to whatever sense that any of us have, the idea of patriotism and being a U.S. citizen. When you say things like this was built on the idea that I can live on earth that is mine without the harassment of neighbors who might not like me for various reasons. Right? Good job I have.
Andy. Good evening, everyone. I've been here a few times, but I really haven't spoken, and I have a concern that I know has been ongoing with the dam and the water and the surrounding areas of the lake. Recently, I went down there to fish and noticed that the lake has dropped in water level significantly by my estimation, maybe 2 feet. And I just don't understand how we can lose 2 feet of water in such a short period of time. I don't know if we're having problems that the community needs to be notified about, or, we don't want to be blindsided by something that is going on as a community, because if we can, as a community, stop and help out in some form by either conserving water or whatever that might be, then we need to know that. If we got some infrastructure problems or whatever, but I want to add that also, as I walk around the lake, I know that we have money earmarked, or that we got some grants coming forth, $5 million or something like that to work on the lake. And that's great. But what I see over there is a lot more than $5 million worth of work. We have sidewalks that are heaving. I know of one lady in particular that has fallen and hurt herself from these heaving cement. Why don't we just pull it out and put gravel down there? That's the quickest, simplest, keeps the city from getting a lawsuit against them. And then another thing is, I went over there the other day and I noticed that
aqueduct, the water that's going into the lake was being diverted in a different direction. So I did call and they told me that they were putting water down in the pond. I don't know what the pond serves as, but I understand that, they do need to make adjustments, but there was the main waterway going into the lake. I noticed that the cement is heaving and the water's going directly underneath that heaving cement. I'd like to know where that water's going. Is that going under the cement fixtures, or is that eroding away? That's going to create more problems. I also noticed there's trees all along that and weeds all along that, this should be regular perform maintenance during the summer. We should be going in there, getting those trees and those weeds out of there before they take over. This summer, this winter, when it gets cold, we're going to get moisture in there. It's going to crack up all that cement, and then we're going to have even more problems. So, my concerns are, what's the maintenance plan there currently? Is it being deferred because we know that we have money coming in? Or, what's going on with the water? I think that we had a significant drop. Earlier this spring, the water was way up. It was amazing. I was totally impressed on how much water we had in the lake. And I think that we're probably down 6 feet, 5, 6 feet from last year.
Yeah,
That's good.
that was it.
That's it? Okay, I think that, we have a lot of comments and questions, and most of them about covenants, and about water. We do have some issues they pointed right towards the water and what you're talking about. I would rather not waste, meeting time on that, but if you would actually contact Jim during the day or sometime, or talk to us after the meeting, or something, we should spend some next week. There are some issues that specifically address what you're talking about.
Okay, I think that, I have kind of spoke with Jim already in an email, and he gave me some feedback, but I think that the community, the reason I'm here tonight is they need to be aware that, if they haven't been around the lake, they need to go take a walk around the lake and look and see. I mean, there's dead trees. We've got new algae. What's that all about? The algae we were supposed to have terminated worked great, whatever chemical you use, but now I understand that this is a different strain of algae, and so we're looking at a different chemical, or there has been a different chemical applied to the lake. We need to know, is that being tested in our water system? Who's testing that? Is that something that we need to be notified of, a new chemical that's being put in the water?
Or maybe what we need to do is publish a newsletter that kind of specifically address some of those issues.
Are you writing the newsletter this month or am I?
You will.
Oh.
Maybe on that or one from Jim or whatever, we probably need, because you're right, public needs to know.
Yes.
There are some issues with the walk around the lake and stuff that are pointed out specifically because of the construction and everything. But we definitely need to know.
So I took some notes.
Okay.
And
if you want to give me a number, I can talk to you later this week and maybe have a conversation. And I'll talk to James about it a little in the past. And it's like maybe better question.
I know, there's an input. So, when you called in and talked to Jim, did you get all your questions answered?
I think that he hit the high points, and the reason I came tonight is I think that other people need to know that I'm not probably the only one that is aware of this. But my main concern today is with that significant drop. Do we have an issue with losing water? And we're on the brink of not being able to replenish this water because we rely on spring runoff. And I thought that we had a lot of snow in the mountains, so I thought that we had a lot of good runoff. Plus, we had a lot of spring rain that contributed to the filling of the lake. That's probably why it was so full. But why did we lose so much water so quickly? Did we divert it somewhere?
So did he explain to you, just real quick, did he explain to you this happens every year?
Well, I've been here 3 years and I haven't seen it drop that significantly.
It does. Yeah. Every year. It does this time of year. It does.
Well, then, we probably, my personal opinion as a citizen, there needs to be an alternative way to stop that from happening because it is concerning.
We do. And we have wells, and we're having them worked on right now.
Okay,
But the major point I think that you brought up is probably needs to know. Obviously, the questions you have are questions other people have as well. We need to focus it to more knowledge. Okay.
thank you for your time, I really appreciate it.
Like you said, Dan, thanks for coming.
Is that it? Anybody else from the audience?
Okay.
I was curious, where are we at on the bank meeting? I haven't seen that in the newsletter in a while.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, we'll put that in there as to what's going on.
Close the session, open the regular meeting, we won't have to talk to the top, we'll skip. Just in the 9.4 at 6:45. We're on the weeks.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Joining the moment of the questions, please. Thank you, everybody. Let the minutes show that we have a forum. And we have 4 board members present in person and a board member on Zoom.
She ended up dropping off. She was trying to get back on, so.
Okay, even if she doesn't, she was excused, she doesn't make it. She did notify us about that. All right, let's go ahead with the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Move in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from regular meeting August 27th, 2024, special meeting September 5th, 2024, and CCACC minutes August 27th, 2024.
I'll second it.
Move in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those fail.
Make a motion that we pay the bills.
I'll second it.
Move in second. Discussion.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I had a few questions. Well, that makes you happy. I was just concerned, on number 37963, we have a MasterCard finance charge of $436. I don't pay, I know that I'm different because I'm an individual. I don't pay any finance charges. How do we get finance charges?
So at the beginning of everything that has occurred since February, yes, so it has occurred. I just looked at the statement today online, and we are receiving some of that money back. Jim is very diligent on speaking with them monthly and making sure that we are on top of that.
Okay, then just a couple of, I just want to know the things, Mr. Chairman. We have a 37985, which is for wind water, which I've never heard of before, and that's for $1,740. And what was that for? It's number 37985. And all by itself.
Yep, I will find it for you right.
That was.
Wind water was probably coming up for our, construction project,
For the
I would
valve,
think, huh?
for the valves.
Yeah, with different couplings, with different clamps. We gotta get them where we can get them.
Okay, yeah, I just want to know what it was.
They're kind of important, they sell the same parts.
Okay, so they sell parts that we're going to be using on the valving project.
Yes. I mean, I'm not,
Well, Well, okay,
but they're the same, and it's also like, right now, Ferguson's has taken over Neptune meters in Fort Maine and
okay,
so there's a change.
that's fine, and I'd like to move to item number 38025.
Okay.
And that's an outfit that we gave $640 to named Thomas and Reuters. And I've never heard of them either.
Which one was that?
It was 38025.
Oh, I apologize. Okay, so that is our budgeting.
That's our software.
Yes, it is. That's our budgeting software.
And is that a fee for a year or?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
What else?
Yeah, I've got one quick thing. Well, two.
Mhm.
37976 Colorado Electric motor repair.
Yeah, we had a motor go out, in our wet well, pumps water to our tanks. We had that rebuilt.
So it's a pretty big motor.
Yes.
It just,
The biggest one.
Yeah.
Of the bunch.
Okay.
And I think that one is not, that hasn't been rebuilt for 6 years or something. And for the other two have been rebuilt.
and then, right underneath it, Colorado Pond and Lake, final payment.
Yes, that is for the algae that we did 2 years ago.
This is the final payment on it.
This is the final.
And, to his question, the chemicals that we put in for it, I guess, don't affect this.
No, we go through their biologists and everything that it is accepted by safety and fish as well.
So not what you use that.
Yeah, so what I was asking was the chemicals that we are currently putting in does not affect the algae that this gentleman here is talking.
No, sir.
No.
No, different algae.
It's
It's a whole
different.
different.
There's, that one that we did was for the milliput. We also did a treatment at the beginning of the summer for algae, which they tested on different algae
That was buttercup.
for the buttercup and stuff, which we eliminated that. And now there's another string of algae that is there too.
So I don't want to take very long on this. I just want to do a quick question here. Okay. One of the things that used to always take care of the algae was the carp in the lake.
Mhm.
We have numerous problems with people catching carp, taking their trash fish, throwing them out. Okay. But yet we get these chemicals to put in our water that I'm not exactly super happy about ingesting, even though they say it's safe. Because other stuff was said to be safe for decades. Okay. Why can we not get with Game and Fish
We have,
and talk about getting more carp put back in that lake and maybe put some signs up, like I was suggesting maybe a year or so ago, putting the signs up along the lake, informing people to please don't throw the carp on the bank. They are a very important part of keeping the lake clean.
They also eat everything else up. Eat all the other fish eggs. So they destroy the habitat for the other fish.
They restock the other fish every year, though. They restock trout every year.
Right, and they shouldn't be putting trout in, it's too warm of a lake.
But all I'm getting at is that that's a beneficial fish that's chemical free that none of us are ingesting in our body. Okay,
one of the,
that's what I'm getting.
one of the things that I did research is when they did this in the past, I believe Paul actually paid for it, not sticking with this ring. I'm not sure. But it was Japanese carp that were supposed to be sterile, and they had a lifetime, whatever, of 6 or 7 years. So I think that's some of the follow up to that too, where
We lost them because they were sterile.
Yeah, but I did get a quote from, the same people that did on, on the mic, as to see if we could get more Japanese out of that.
to do this. So they were looking into it.
Thank you. That's all I have. Mr. Bailey wants to talk about fish.
There is carp in our Lake Beckwith. They're a different kind of carp. They are a grass-eating carp. They're not the Japanese carp, but they have put carp back in Lake Beckwith.
So we need the Japanese carp to eat this stuff, is what you're saying.
Well,
We never had this problem before.
no, but I don't know. That's their deal, but I see them when they're stocking. I want to know what they're putting in there. But there is carp. They have put them back in to Lake Beckwith.
Thank you.
Well, I propose on the call. We have a pre-authorization MNP, $50, and a Expedia pre-authorization fee. 37963. Why are we paying for pre-authorization from anything?
That was for reservation.
That's reservation.
What's your
It's a trade to make sure that your card is good when you set up the reservation. All it is, and then it comes off the new balance.
It happens.
Yeah, it's standard
Does
stuff.
that
It's
have to
standard,
be taken
yeah.
off of the, does it bill?
Yes, eventually it goes onto your actual reservation.
So we're not actually paying that?
No,
That's not additional?
no,
Neither one of those are an additional fee.
that's correct.
I am, just like Mr. Davis,
No,
I'm
that's.
very concerned about that.
You're fine.
$436 was really.
Yes, I knew you would think that. And that's okay, and I will answer all your questions.
I'm concerned about East Footing. $21,000 for 1 month's worth of work, 5,000 that's in parts, which means we're spending $16,000 in labor for consulting at the water treatment plant.
This is hooking up all of the new systems, our high tide and our alarm system for the plant. Everything, that's part of the parts was the high tide. That is getting.
$5,000, Jim, $5,000 is parts. I understand
Yes.
that. The rest of that, was $16,000 is labor.
Yes, that's troubleshooting in the middle of the night during whenever.
How many people involved?
One guy. I guess two.
Well, it's either Gary or I that are calling him because something goes wrong and we cannot.
Understandable. I understand that. I'm not.
But there's, last Friday, I couldn't control anything. It just all disappeared. So he had to spend 2 or 3 hours trying to get everything back up. Where it went, he doesn't know, but he got us back up so we could look.
I understand.
So Neil, I have tried to outsource to different people. We're looking at 2 times the amount of money.
We ought to be hiring somebody at that rate.
Where are you gonna find somebody at that rate?
$16,000 a month.
Mr. Chairman, if you think that's a bad number, go look at the 1099. To see what you really pay.
Right. So we have to, you understand what I'm saying?
Well, I do, and I also wanted to, everybody just take a look at we have this section in our packet that says checks over 5,000, and there's a breakdown of A squared. And I thought it was a nice breakdown for, because I always think about how do we end up paying so much for stuff? The guy took some time and said exactly what he was using the time for. And I enjoyed I was gratified to be able to read that because it's, you kind of get an idea of what's going on in the background in terms of how the weird stuff that's going on with our plant.
Well, I'm not at all questioning, actually, I'm not quite questioning, our employees or ACEWORK. I'm not questioning as much as if we're spending that kind of money, shouldn't we be looking for somebody on site as an employee to be dealing with this stuff?
Nobody would do that, no? Nobody in their right mind would come down here and do that. You got to find somebody retired
I don't accept that.
The,
when they can go out and earn $175 an hour.
How much was labor? $16,000
But
for an
that,
IT guy?
1 month.
I can get an IT guy for a whole lot less than $16,000 and get you a pretty darn good one.
So anyway,
Wow.
that's my question. I'm choosing not question on the efforts,
you can have all kinds of.
but that's a lot for us to be spending on, consulting.
no, it isn't consulting a lot of the time.
Again, I understand, a lot of work, he puts in a lot of work, and like Ray said, he breaks it down and that, well, man, here for the efforts he put in, I think he busted his tail for it.
Well, we've got just tonight, once we finally get online, he's probably got 3-4 hours trying to figure out why Cold Springs went down on us. And I don't know, Gary doesn't know.
I'm not questioning at all, I agree with you, I think that he busted the tail, and you guys break the tail, but keep this stuff going. But are we missing a step here and having somebody?
We're being efficient with their money.
Can I offer a suggestion or question? Is this specialized software that they're using for this?
Yeah.
That's one of the major issues, is proprietary to their business, so we just can't hire an IT guy off the street that.
That's my question about that.
They're the only people who get to use their software.
They know they know how they wrote it, they know how it works.
I have more issues with the payables. We bought a bull rider knife.
Are you on the Ace Hardware?
Yes, I read it.
Ace Hardware?
Oh, good deal, except it. I don't know. That's all right.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to call the vote.
Oh,
Well,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Chair votes yes, let's take those.
Thank you for all the questions.
Okay. Let's move on. Operational.
Operational. I'll do the Lake Beckwith measurements for weekly report for week 9/6 and 9/12. Our level went from 15/6 on the 6th to 15/2. The 4-inch was dry. 6-inch is for 1 minute is less than 150 milliliters. Seep was dry. Where you're still at 1.1, it stayed the same. Pit stayed dry. It was done by Greg. For your piezometers, on the 6th, use 1 and 2 still stayed at 17.9. Number 3 is a void. Number 4, you have 20.7 for the 6th and 20.8, which is the distance down where you have water. P5, you had 18.3 on the 6th, 18.4 and dry on it. P6, you had 26.1, 26.1, they stayed the same. P11 is at 8.4 and it stayed the same, it's dry. P12, you're at 22.6 on the 6th and 22.4 on the 12th. Lake level, like I said, was 13.6 and 13.2 right now. Holly Dot.
Mr. Mr. Bailey, is there anything unusual in any of those readings that Jim was talking about?
no,
Thank you.
it doesn't vary very much.
Appreciate it.
Okay, Holly Dot, golf course shop activity report. 2024, our revenue is at 68,618, whereas August of last year was 59,116. Year to date for 2024, we're at $429,459 compared to last year, which was 386,503. August was a big month. We are increasingly seeing more play from the North Colorado Springs, Denver area mainly. We are seeing people who met at the Golf Expo, people that heard about us on Facebook, people referred by friends that tell them we are in amazing shape and worth the drive. As for the maintenance side of the golf course, we have 1.25 inches of precipitation in August from the 8th to September 9th. Green Spray continued with fourth moss control application on August 22nd. Fourth been difficult to mitigate thoroughly due to low flows in ditch and the Parks and Rec campground August 24th revenue is $4,860.72. We had a water leak under the phosphorus hydrant to the campground. We were able to pick it up and replace broken line and replace parts on the hydrant. Seasonal, we are still mowing, trimming weeds with limited hours of staff. Weeds and loss have been a constant battle the last few weeks, but we are working hard to keep up. Sports soccer registration has closed and practices start this week. The season will run through October and we have 82 participants. We are getting the community used to the online registration platform, and we'll be able to use it to notify parents when registration opens for future programs. For the extra 2 weeks of the full season, we went well and had enough chemicals to make it through aerobics and laps swim attendance were about the same as the rest of the season, with an average of 14 aerobic participants and 4 lap swimmers. Open swim averaged 14 swimmers, which always slowed down towards the end of the season. The pool was drained, and we are working to clean up and winterize the pump room and building. Water report for July 25th through August 25th. Cold Springs made a record of 3 million gallons. The Beckwith plant produced 19.2 for a total of 22,357,000 gallons. The Beckwith plant recycled 2.4 million gallons. This water was used on the golf course, the ball fields, and sold as raw water for county roads. The lake was turned over and has PE filter filling, causing us to clean in place twice daily on all 3 skids. We have RMR'd all of the filters, and we are in the process of cleaning and trimming. We have purchased as many filters as we could find. No other filters can be purchased until next year. The DDPs came back with 5, and we exceeded the NLC on both TGHMs and HA pipes. Colorado Well and Pump have delivered pipe and will soon be installing the Summit and redo and rodeo pumps and cases. The wastewater plant received 9.2 million gallons treated and returned 10 million gallons. I also included in the operational report, I know Mr. Davis was asking about where we were at last year with the increases and stuff. If you look at the first one is what we had for 2023. That's total for the whole year. I also put in, Christie gave it to me, and I have 2024 up until the end of August. I went through and added up until August of 2023 to make a difference as to where we're at in each frame. There has been more usage. We have collected more, and we're on target. With this information, it will help us with the grants and any loans that we need to as to the dam project and also that.
And it'll also help with budget.
Yes.
So, good for you.
Yeah.
We'll sit with. And I want to
publicly thank Christie for getting those numbers right for us. So it was a concern I had. Did raise rates. I was worried about whether we were going to kill the demand. Thank you. I just have one thing. When I was looking at those detailed bills for May Square, I noticed that there was one significant period of time, Mr. Galladay and Mr. Bailey, that they were dealing with the thing, the wet well at Cold Springs was draining. What was going on there?
Well, no. We were trying to keep the plant running. We're trying to level it out so that we have a longer run time. Our skid produces X amount of gallons. We don't have a constant flow coming into Cold Spring. So Jansen had to sit there and try to figure out where the gallons coming out of the skid versus the water coming out of the spring. And we're trying to balance that out.
I got you.
And
so we weren't losing water.
No, we're not losing water.
That was just
it was just this time of year, the spring is not flowing. And so we got to try to balance it out and get the longest run time we can.
Appreciate it.
Losing water, the tanks drained, is that due to a water break specifically?
No, it was actually due to our filters clogging up, and we have one skid that has been on the bricks for us for a week. And we've got it isolated, and we finally got the parts in today to get it. Because what I was doing is.
So the tanks were low because we weren't filling them, not because we lost the water.
Yes, it was just that we, over a 2-week period, you're producing 450,000 gallons, but you're using 6. So that's why we put in a conserve and let's build our tank stop. And that was one of the reasons we shut down the sand pipe, because we were down to about 2 foot in tank 2, which when you start doing that, then we started ended up having groundwater because of the sediment that's set on that tank. And when you start to fill it, it starts.
Was that posted somewhere that was due to a water break?
No. It was due to
Slab being
failure.
Yeah. I'd just like to know where the tanks are now.
We're about 2/3 full.
Nice.
We're building on 3 mil now. So
How that's my special concern. How deep's 3 mil?
We've got about 300,000 gallons in there.
How many feet is that?
It's about 7.
Okay. Thank you. 7 feet.
Committees? Mr. Davis for the newsletter
10-4.
and budget committee.
We're trying to get on it finished up. Christie's been working on it. Getting that, and then doing the block. Yeah, I've got the software for the budget.
Ray, any update on the lease for the Bernard Street?
Nope, not even looking at it right now.
Which brings up a question, what about lease for the other leases, are they due?
That's the only one that we have.
Golf course, pro shop and,
I think we have another year and a half.
and the pro shop?
Pro shop is, year to year, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Change report?
Leave that, we need to use it in,
Executive
session.
All right. Let's move on into the agenda items. So, I am the agenda items, we don't have any operational agenda, we have the architecture control committee.
The first one we have is, like I said, the building on town lot. Send them a letter, about the garage they want to put on their property and, inform them that they need to mark the corner pins and,
We need a motion to send a letter.
yes,
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve sending a letter for the building of garage on Camelot, explaining what they need to do.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, question, discussion?
Can we just get a quick clarification, Mr. Chairman, about what this letter is about and why it's been written?
Did we have a copy of the letter?
Well, I think the audience is here, and that's been a topic that people have been talking about all night. So why are we sending a letter to Camelot?
it was due to why they were turned down for the building application and the areas that there was concerns, from the application, which they did not mark the four corners. Right, Bob? Wasn't that it?
He had the bill, probably did a survey. But there was one corner that we couldn't find.
So we just didn't know where the house was. Didn't know where the property, the garage. Oh, okay. Right.
So that letter is going to specifically state in it that it is not approved for habitation. Correct?
Yeah.
And they will need to, what, sign an affidavit of that, or what are you proposing there?
Well, I was told that the affidavit probably wasn't the right form to send somebody.
It's just a letter to inform them that they're building a garage, not a residence. They can't live in it. County covers that too, do they not?
They do.
Okay.
Yes.
Good,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Is Sarah back on?
Yes. Well, Sarah, how do you vote?
It's hard to do, remote.
Oh, it drives me nuts when I'm on the phone.
She's on, but,
Okay,
Let's move on. Next would be the four first letters that authorizing, that advisory committee to send out to start issuing the letters to these four complaints.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to group these in a single motion, to approve sending these four letters, please.
I'll second.
Moving second, discussion, questions.
The only one I have a question with is the one, I think it's on Lake Circle, with, there seems to be some, animal abuse is what was alleged in that letter. Is that really an architectural control issue? It's probably the last letter in the packet.
second house.
So I would guess that would be both architectural and report to the county.
To whom do you think that? To the health department or Humane Society?
Well, we don't have any control. I mean, Covenants doesn't control animals, so it would be Humane Society. Yes. Covenants would control the type of animals, but they're allowed to have them.
It's chickens.
Yeah, we can't go in there and tell them you're abusing your animals. That's not our business, nor our job.
This
We could forward it to the,
motion is to start the letter for basically
for
to
the Covenant.
talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're not including anything in that letter about abusing animals.
That's correct. It's just covered the covenant number.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Other questions, discussion? Ray?
On voting?
Yes.
Yes.
Ray?
Yes.
Well, yeah, Chair votes yes. Okay. Old business, Jim?
Old business, road resolution, I need to send to, Carolyn to get that next. As for the goals and achievement and strategic, we're still working on that, setting up Little Diggers Development Project. We did post it on Facebook. I also had a flyer put out and taped to everybody's door or handed to everybody's, that would be affected by the, shut off. They're looking at shutting off at 10 o'clock tomorrow night and replacing as many bells as we can in that time period until 6 a.m. Hopefully it won't take until 6 a.m., but that's what we're looking at, trying to put water back on by 6.
So you're thinking you're gonna get 4 replaced and the 1 new one?
We're looking at actually 3 for sure to replace. And then we'll look at the next 2, and that way we won't have to shut everybody off. If we replace those 3, then it will be kind of isolated to just a couple of.
You can do the other work without shutting everybody off.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what we're looking at.
So the follow-up be the next few days then on the.
Hopefully, yes. That's what we're looking at. See how this works out, because we did run into a problem. We thought that it was all due to the plans we had, the as-built. It was showing a 8-inch line through the whole area, while when we potholed it, there is a section that is a 6-inch line. So that was another thing that, okay, you gotta change a valve from a 8-inch to a 6-inch, which we had one on hand for local, we're able to do it. And you just need to get the high axis to tie it into the line.
So are we said once that final valve is installed that we move forward and shutting that off?
Yes.
Where to do that?
Not totally clear, but we're at that point, that's where we need to go into negotiations, and we've already explained that to the lawyers and stuff as to, okay, once we get to this point, where we're gonna go.
So our lawyer has explained it to their lawyer.
Yeah,
Okay, we probably shouldn't be talking about this anymore.
it's between the lawyers right now. The wells, the well, I talked to Tom, I think it was Friday, when I was off, and I talked to him. He did get all the pipe and everything in. We delivered pipe yesterday through all the wells. So he's just trying to get in line with, getting his tree down here for the, redo the well. So that is in process. It's all in process. We heard, 2 weeks ago, we heard that he was supposed to be here, we realized that we didn't have all the parts on order. And we got them now.
I haven't asked. I would like to ask for the next meeting, which is in the week, for everybody that's keeping score. I would like to ask that we have a report on the status of our wells. What are they producing? If we can get that information, are they running? How's it going? Because like the gentleman said, we are starting to see a decline in the lake levels, and we do augment with wells. So it's really important to know how they're doing, and I think the community will be happy to know if the wells are working or not. One of the things that we did do was we turned on the rec well, and it is pumping what it normally pumps, which is
It's about 80 gallons a minute.
Okay.
It's one of the smallest wells. The Summit well, when we get it up and running, it will produce 250 gallons a minute. The rodeo grounds will produce 260, 270 gallons a minute.
But that
So
one's not running right now.
no,
Pardon?
those 2 are the ones that are being worked on.
they're being worked on.
And what about the well on 18, the hole 18?
I
know.
We're gotta go back into that one. I was having some issues with it. I worked on it.
I saw you there on your day off.
Yeah. But, once Tom gets here and we get those wells going, then I'll bring him down there and we'll see what's going on with
It is
the,
producing some though.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Cause it normally produces what?
The 18-hole well produces about 280 gallons a minute.
We're maybe 100 at this point, so there's something wrong with it. Yeah. We just had it worked on 2 years ago.
Pardon?
We just had it worked on 2 years ago.
Yeah,
And so,
yeah, at least 2 years ago.
other old business?
Yes, North Carolina, what's the status of that?
We're,
Yes.
I know Eden put in more chemical into the line. And last week we ended up having a couple of backups.
Only been 4 since first of the month.
Yeah, and that's it, like, we were doing fine for 3 weeks. And we hadn't asked him to go ahead and put more chemicals in it to see if there's anything else that could be in. Well, it must have broke some more loose, and now it gave us that. But it's really weird is when I do get the call that it is backed up or somebody's pit was full, by the time they get there, the line breaks free and it's running.
So where are we at with the GMS?
They're still working on it. I know, Ken went into the hospital and I haven't had a chance to call him back yet, if he's back out. I know he said he was at home now, so we're pulling all that information together. Him and Alex, and I'll give them a call in the morning and find out where they're at. If they have anything proposed as to what they think would be best for this.
We would have that by next week.
Hopefully, that's what I'm looking at.
So once they get the GMS design is done, have they given us a hint as to what they're going towards?
That's what they're looking at, is giving us different options as to what we need to do. Whether it would be, do we need to replace the grinders and pits in the 4 houses, or would it be cheaper to put in another manhole and put everything coming down except for those 4 houses into gravity system? That's 2 of the options that we're looking at right now.
The other thing I would like to suggest is if we're gonna be putting in, chemicals that are gonna be loosening sediments, that we have the truck ready, the vac truck there, so that we can take care of business when it happens.
And usually it's about 20 minute between getting the back truck there and stuff. It isn't overflowing anything, well, the alarms start going off.
It'd be reassuring if I was living there, it'd be reassuring for me to know that the vac was there. When we know that a procedure that we're gonna do is gonna cause stuff to break loose. I mean, if I was seeing somebody dealing with this problem, putting chemicals in to break loose sediment, it'd be handy. And it'd be reassuring to know that the back truck was there to take care of it before all the alarms start going off.
Well, we weren't expecting it for this after the first batch, we knew that it would clean it, and that's what the reason we put a second batch in it, is to make sure that it was clean and we didn't have any.
I agree with Mr. Davis, though, and I think we've been over this. Perception is a very important deal, and right now, I'm sorry, but these guys are saints that live on this house, that live in these houses. Because, you know.
Yeah, no, I know, and I agree with you. I agree with you.
We're going on a year now, aren't we?
It's starting December.
December.
Close enough.
So we're getting pretty close. I mean, and GMS, have you relayed the importance to
Yes, I have.
GMS on getting this done?
Well, the other issue is, last I heard, we were pumping every Monday and Friday. If we stopped doing that,
We stopped doing that. We didn't have any problems for, like we said, 3-4 weeks.
have we started doing that again since we started having?
No, we haven't, but I can tell them to start doing it. What they do is they check it every morning, right? Whether the flow, what kind of flow is coming out of it. And if it's flowing a 3/4 pipe or more, we're not having that problem. we don't have to pump it, it's doing its job. Whereas if it gets down to under a half pipe, then they go pump and see, make sure.
Well, to Greg's point, and these people are sinks, but I think they're at the breaking point. I think we need to avoid any more backups somehow, some way. If that involves pumping every week, just like we were before, when we got the long gap there. That back in. We need to do something to try to help our citizens in this area. Until GMS gets their stuff done, and we can hopefully, the Lord willing, fix this problem permanently.
That's what we're looking at is trying to fix that permanently.
Oh, I know that's what we're looking at, but in the meantime,
Old business,
The business,
how many meters have we changed here? Since the last meeting.
We haven't because we were changing filters out we were changing out filters out. Guys were doing with that. And also other service calls and stuff.
Or utility crews or plant changing filters up?
Yes. Because when you're looking at 48 filters, usually if Gary's there, or Gary's at the sewer plant, the other two guys that we have, the plants, they are getting filters, moving them back and forth, either pulling them here, or making sure that they're taking the old ones out, bringing the new ones in, so that the other two guys can put it in.
didn't we discuss, entertaining subcontracting with meters?
Yeah, we did. We talked about it. I did talk to Aiden about it. He was getting a price to see what it was, and I'll get back to you and give you a report on that.
So when could we have that?
Probably next week. Try to.
One more, Mr. Chairman, but
well, if I could just remember. At least I'm not the only one that does that, man. Thank God.
thanks for trying to bail me out.
Well, I do it daily.
That's it.
Well, while you're thinking about it, I have, where are we on the dam engineering and the loans for such?
The dam, should be closed. I know she said by the end of September, and I told her, I said, I'm holding you to the fire. He said by the end of September. I know they were, I just got the bill in for this last month, and it was compiling all the data that she's got from the mid-July. Also, the specifications to meet the state demand of lowering the lake 5 foot in 5 days. They're working on that siphon. All of that. I know I was on a call with her and Nate 2 weeks ago as to we're going to have to take the siphon that's coming out of our tower down, I think it was 3 or 4 foot to bring it in to match with the new gas system.
So,
And right
and all that to answer operations, so that's great. When can we expect this finished engineering report?
I don't know. I have to call and
Would
find
you
out.
please?
Yeah.
Would you just put,
Like I said, I put a plug on, even Mark Perry has.
Yeah, pretty good. The loans for the grants for the same, or we on?
I just got the, from the hazardous mitigation fund from Trumbull County. They asked me to send in why was compliance on the dam and what it was about. I ended up sending them the compliance order and everything to them. They said that's what we needed to finish up the hazard mitigation, which then that moves it into that FEMA grant as to the $2 million for that.
So we are pretty much moving forward and
Into that.
we can expect to turn some word over these terms.
I'm hoping. Well, no, because now the state has to review that.
Yeah,
And that process is usually,
And it's gonna go back and forth.
we can have this going along. Okay, did you remember what you were, okay, it's your turn.
So, how
What's our staffing levels like for utility crews?
We're staffed, except I have one out on work.
Work call.
And we're trying to fill one this week, and it didn't turn out the way.
Is our water plant fully staffed?
Yes. At this point.
Because that's what
They could use another one.
yeah, we budgeted and we're taking more money, so
Yeah, we're trying to.
we have to fill those positions. Okay. We haven't filled all of them.
Yeah, one.
Oh, that's in the water plant?
No, in the outside.
Well, I'm talking about the water.
Water plant, we have for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
New business, I will have the sheriff here next Tuesday, he made a commitment.
Thank you.
He would be here, I believe some of what I told him is, I think we're getting some miscommunication between undersheriffs and our people that are calling in complaints and stuff as to where we need to go, because, you know, these trailers and stuff that are being pulled in, there is a county rule that they cannot be there for more than 7 days.
You're talking about people that are in the travel trailers.
Yes, that are parking on lots and stuff. And so that was one of the aspects of what we need to talk about. I know there was some other complaints about getting access to a piece of property that they ended up cutting the fence and all kinds of stuff. So one of the undersheriffs was on going to fence. And so
What?
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh my God.
So that's what I told him. I said there was some.
You want to get shot?
So okay, that was one of the last time explaining to him what was going on, and we need to have more backup and support from different parts if possible. And how are we going to solve a lot of these things that are happening with the because the only thing that I see is you have all of this going on with them cleaning out the river in Springs, the river at Pueblo. Where are these people going to move to? Are they going to move right back into where they're at? Or are they going to move south and start finding different areas?
So we kind of need to have an agenda for him for the next meeting, otherwise it's just going to be it's just going to go round and round. So if we could have kind of a focused discussion with him. That's good.
And I'm going to put it first on the work session.
It'll take some time. So that's what's going to happen. That'll end up being.
And I've got 2 or 3 kids.
Well, everybody will.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of that. All right.
Well, just real quick on the new business. When I called that trailer in to you, what's the status on that? Because I haven't had a chance to go out. I've been working.
He's still there.
He's still there. And sheriff hasn't come out and removed him.
It's been a month.
And the sheriff has been notified about that. Okay. Thank you.
And that nothing needs to come up.
Oh, yeah, it will.
So other than business,
That's it. That I have to do business.
I have a couple of things. We need a better sound system. And we need to discuss the cleaning process. And that's all I have. Anything else?
No, sir. I agree.
Oh, okay, anything else?
I don't know if I want a better sound system, then they'll hear what I say.
I need a motion for going to the executive session.
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session pursuant to section 24-76-4024B for the purposes of conference with the attorney for the district for the purposes of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions related to a proposed compliance order on consent with the CEPHE
and related to legal restrictions on covenant enforcement.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
So just to be clear for the audience, we will not be voting when we get out of executive session in open meeting. And we will not be voting in the executive session.
Reopen the, hold on, we closed the executive session. Craig made a motion, seconded by Clint. That was at 9:14. We are now
Reopen the regular meeting at 9:15.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we adjourn this meeting.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded, no problems, we're adjourned.
It is 9:15.
We really like that.